What's up, everybody? It's That Anime Show. I'm Terri Doty with...
J. Michael Tatum.
Wow.
I just wanted to do that today. I wanted to go NPR on it, you know. I'm J. Michael
What's up,
Tatum.
everyone? Welcome to That Anime Show. Today, we have Antimere Robinson on the show.
Yes. Hello,
How's it going?
let's see if I can get his Antimere Robinson.
Ooh, what a lovely voice.
I normally sound like this, so.
Thanks for having me on the show, bitches.
Yes,
Thanks,
Hi.
everyone. Oh, my God. Oh, wow.
Like, wow, you've been putting on a very good front.
Yeah, it's, when I get nervous.
Oh my God, now that I've finally seen you outside of work.
No, now I'm just like, how am I talking? Am I talking like this? Or am I going to come up into my higher voice when I get really.
Oh, my God.
I get a little soft. I get a little momish whenever I'm nervous. It's just like, well, I should say so.
I'm going to do the real patterned Lady Gaga with the very almost British accent responses.
I made this
Everything is
outfit
so-
last night in heaven.
No, that's Bjork. Yeah, it's bordering on
No,
Bjork.
I
Bjork
saw
is-
her face. Like, she was wearing something. They're like, who made this? She's like,
I made it last night in heaven.
and like, okay.
Bjork is-
Keep walking,
I ran through a
Gaga.
fabric store covered with spray mount and just ran into separate things.
I
They
saw
let
a
me
video
keep
of
it.
her trying to explain how the inside of her VCR television worked. And it was like the most surreal.
Wait,
David
Bjork. Are you
Lynch-
jumping to Bjork?
Yeah, Bjork.
Yes, okay.
And she was like, and here all the little gnomes take and they travel up the wires and go into, and it's like the weirdest. I'm like, what the fuck is she even saying? Like, I
I like
don't
to
know.
think that trees are people without skin.
Can't move very
I
much.
was
we'll
reading
reach to
something
the
on that one movie she was in, and she refused to wear this particular dress, and they're like, well, you're wearing it. So she ate
Dancer
the
in the Dark.
dress. She
Dancer in the
ate
Dark.
it so she wouldn't have to wear it.
Dancer in the
High
Dark,
fiber.
which is a fine movie, by the way, but I didn't know about the eating the dress story until later, and I thought, that's some crazy.
Wait, she
shit.
really ate it. Whoa.
Apparently, yeah, she ate.
So
the
I don't
dress.
want to wear it, but I really want to poop it out.
That's and I'm pretty sure, like,
I don't
what
want to put that
happened
on
was
the
that, like,
outside, but I want to put it on the inside.
No, I'm pretty,
Oh, this feels
it's all about
perfect.
inner beauty.
It's,
But yeah, she had to accessorize her inner beauty.
She had to with
only my crap would
But
wear
see, it's
this.
like, I'm pretty sure what, like the first thing you think of when you hear that story is she's like having a fit with the director who was Lars von Trier. And who was like, you have to wear this dress. It's, no, I don't want to wear this dress. But you have to wear this dress. I don't want to wear this dress. And she finally just screams and like grabs it and starts, scarfing it down.
Recorded it all. Sold
like,
very well.
And they're like trying to stop her. And she's like,
that was
always
the
your
song that
reaction.
wasn't included on the soundtrack.
And the dress is slowly disappearing between her teeth, as she's gargling it down. But that's not what happened. You know what happened was she explained, I don't want to wear this dress. And they're like, well, we'll talk about it. So she got the dress from wardrobe that night, took it in her trailer, and like cut it up into like a million little pieces and just ate them like with crackers or something, like until it was all
Cheese
gone.
whiz, something.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's probably
I've
what
not
happened.
wanted to do things bad enough to do something like that, I think. I mean, given...
I think I
Like-
would probably wear a dress. Even if I didn't like it very much, I would wear it as opposed to eating it. Or I might burn it. I would do something like that. But eating it,
I'd accidentally
that's pretty intense.
drop something or wipe my butt with it, or
I accidentally flossed my ass with this, so we can't wear it now.
out
as
of
you can
toilet
see.
paper, no pine cones.
I'm really not a dress wearer, but when I was getting married, my mom wanted me to try on real bridal dresses, so I just looked as awkward as I could in them and kind of scratched my chest to make it look like I had an allergic reaction. I'm like, take this off, I gotta take it off. No, gosh, oh my God, take it off. I'm like, yeah, see, we shouldn't have come here.
Bjork used to
I
be
hate
married,
dresses.
and she might still be married. I haven't kept up
I don't
with it.
think
She's
so.
an artist.
She's teamed up with Matthew Barney.
Yeah, and I think they were married for a time, or at least
No, last
dating
time we
or
talked,
whatever,
we
but
didn't
maybe,
really,
right?
you
'Cause
know.
they did a.
I didn't ask about that.
Because I mean, I seem to.
I didn't want her to eat my clothes.
They were supposed to have done a movie together at some point. Like
They did Drawing Restraint 9.
And yeah.
Yeah.
And because Matthew Barney is a very strange guy. If you've never heard of him, he's an artist. He started out
Yours.
as a
Oh, rainbows and kittens.
well, no, but Matthew Barney kind of makes Bjork look sane by comparison, especially if
pretty
you've seen
cute,
his
too.
work. Because Matthew Barney is an interesting artist. I like his stuff, but it's like he's just a strange guy. He was like I think a Hugo Boss model for a number of years back in the 80s, and made a lot of money doing it, and then proceeded to use that money to make these big installation art pieces and stuff. And he wound up doing a series of films which
Cremaster cycle.
yeah, the Cremaster cycle.
Or is it La Cremaster cycle?
Cremaster.
Isn't that Cremaster? Isn't that the muscle?
Cremaster. It's the muscle in the groin that
like the taint, basically, right?
It's responsible for the lowering of the testicles. I think in puberty. I think is his explanation. Which I'm like, okay, fine, let's make a film about that. But
why not?
They never appear in the film, incidentally, his Cremaster, but. Or anyone else's for that matter, but they're 6 films.
But you're aware of yours while watching.
You are very aware, but they're the most bizarre, surreal films.
Hardly sit still right now.
And they're very bizarre films, and they've never been put out on DVD or like available to the general public because he won't.
Damn it!
He won't let them to be. I wish they would because they're really fascinating to watch. I mean, they're just like watching someone's fever dream, really.
Well, that's why I think they're better in a gallery setting. It's not like sit down. They tried to show them at the Angelica at one point. It was sit there with your popcorn and watch a Matthew Barney film, which that's not.
I just can't get through.
You need to be able to walk away.
I just can't get through this milk dud. I can't. Yeah. But they showed them at like the DMA, and we went there and saw them. And I saw all 6 over the period of like 3 years. Like some at the Angelica, they played 2 at the Magnolia, which I saw one of them at the Magnolia, and some girl was there with her boyfriend to do like clearly a report for her class or something. Because she had like a little notepad. And
elevator
he was just
filling
along
up
for the
with
ride, and
concrete
he
for
fell
45
asleep.
minutes.
He fell asleep, and he started snoring. And when she woke him. When she woke him up, he kind of goes, "What?" And he looks at the screen. He's like, "The fuck am I watching?" And he'd go back to sleep. And this repeated like 3 times. It was really funny.
That's happened with Lifetime being on.
or the Oxygen Network. Yeah, snapped.
Oh, that show again.
Tonight
I try to avoid the
normal
Oxygen
women.
Network myself, but that's really funny. But yeah, so Matthew Barney and Bjork were an item. If not married, they were certainly an item for a while, and they did this movie together, which I want to see just because I'm fascinated by Matthew Barney, but he is an odd bird. A very odd bird. And he was also one of those Andy Warhol-like artists that are very cagey in an interview. Because a friend of mine at the time went to see, and he was invited to the DMA several years back to be there for the showing of these films. And so after one of them, he did like a question answer thing with the audience, sort of an inside the actor studio setting, and with like this one of the curators questioning him. He said it was the worst interview he'd ever seen because the guy was just asking these really pointed, intelligent questions, but Matthew Barney's answers were just kind of like, I don't know.
It's whatever.
He was just like so not giving a shit about.
What do you think?
Agnes. Yeah, whatever.
I don't
It's
know.
just it's really funny. I'm like,
What were you thinking when you made? I wasn't.
I just thought I wanted to see.
Thinking about syrup and rubber bands.
And why the two aren't paired together more often?
Actually, it was, not Vaseline. What's the petroleum? In Drawing Restraint 9, it was a petroleum ship, and the shape that was in the ship kept showing up over and over and over again.
Petroleum and Richard Serra, who's in the films, he's in one of them, and there's a scene where he's at the top of the Guggenheim. The Frank Lloyd Wright Guggenheim building. He's at the top of the stairwell, and he's throwing.
I have not seen any of
He's throwing. Well, I'm trying to describe this to you because you'll understand just how this is the most sense the film ever makes. Richard Serra, this modern sculptor / I guess concept artist, is like taking this hot welder's like tool, and he's melting down this giant block of petroleum jelly at the top of the staircase, and he's taking scoops of it and throwing it at this little like cardboard ramp or something so that it's like angling down and it's going down the stairs, and they just film this, and it's the weirdest damn thing. But this is the man, if you've ever been to the Modern here in Fort Worth, that big like vortex chamber outside, the sort of, I guess, the
looks like
iron
a big
one.
piece of okra.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Richard Serra.
I mean,
As
you go
I
like,
break his brilliant piece of artwork
always
down
clap
there.
and
It
make
looks like okra.
It looks like okra. Echo okra too.
Yeah.
But that's him, and he and Matthew Barney apparently are friends, and it's just it's small
been in
world,
that.
but it's very strange. But yeah, that movie is bizarre. There's another scene where Matthew Barney is dressed in a white tux with like I think mistletoe or something in place of an ascot or a scarf, and his face is heavily made up very well, I might add, to look like a goat, like Pan, the god Pan, and he's just dancing.
He's a handsome man.
He's
pulls
just
off the pan quite well.
Yeah,
I mean,
and he's just kind of dancing in place with these shoes until the floor beneath him wears away and he falls. And they're very bizarre films. They're very bizarre films. They really defy
I should
description.
see them.
If they
do
ever
love
come
this
out,
song.
I wish. But there's no plot to them. It really is just a series.
do you want to come over and watch
sort of
Cremaster?
dreamlike.
And obviously,
I thought you'd never.
That's a great overture.
no, I meant mine.
No, I meant mine. I have 6 of them.
And they lived happily ever after.
See, Antimere and I both are very into bizarre films because he and I talk a lot about, like, David Lynch, for example.
Yes.
Werner Herzog and
So funny. I was watching
that just are bizarre and against the grain. For films that people walk out of the theater going, "The fuck did I just watch?"
Yeah.
I love those. They're my favorite.
I love those too. I mean, I will say I haven't seen a lot lately, but I was watching Top Gear last night, and they had the Twin Peaks music in there, like just randomly, like while they were showcasing this Russian car, and I went, "It's fucking Twin Peaks," and then now I'm like itching to watch it. I love David Lynch.
Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks. Such a great show in the beginning.
In the beginning, yeah.
No, I love it all the way through. I'm one of those people, a purist. I liked the movie. I love the movie.
I love Fire Walk With Me. I thought was awesome.
Yes.
I really did, and I actually watched that first because I never watched the series.
Oh no,
that's
no.
well,
I
then
you know who killed her, and it's like,
well, but I guess
Right.
sure, but
Well, I watched it because
I like
Kyle
the series.
MacLachlan.
I like the series. I love David Lynch, but yeah, I definitely like the first season better than I like the second season. Second season's got some moments, but I think you can feel David Lynch divorce himself from it more in the second season and turn more over to, I guess, was it Mark Frost, his collaborator on that one?
Yes.
I met a guy, Harley Payton, who was one of the writers on that show. I met him when I was young. They were in McKinney filming some made-for-TV movie where they film a lot of made-for-TV movies in the early 90s, apparently. Because McKinney has this historic town square that a lot of made-for-TV movies love to film down there. And they filmed Walker, Texas Ranger, of course, the show that, what's his name? Chuck Norris was in. They filmed that all over
Chuck
McKinney.
Norris
That
lives
movie,
around here.
what's that movie with that guy that was on Fox? The tattoos, Wentworth Miller. What was that? Escape, Prison Break.
Oh, Prison Break.
Yes. That's how Brian Massey broke into the industry. Is he kind of crashed the set and pretended like he had an agent, and so he used a real agency, and they're like, "Hey, I don't represent you, but Prison Break wants to use you. Do you want to do it?"
Dolph Lundgren shot a film in Waxahachie. Waxahachie, yes.
Waxahachie?
Believe me,
I watched
didn't know
Masters
that.
of the Universe the other
I
day.
didn't know that.
Yeah, and they were looking for extras, but you had to look like Native American.
How does he look
And I
these
can't
days?
really-
Because I mean, he's going to be in that movie, right? He's going to be.
He's going to be in the Expendables. Oh, he still looks good. He's Dolph Lundgren.
That's true.
Dolph
I just
Lundgren.
haven't seen.
on a
I haven't
reality
seen a
show
recent.
not
I
too
haven't
long
seen
ago.
a recent picture of him.
I mean, he's had some Botox and some work, whatever, but
That's
he's
all right.
still,
There's nothing wrong with that.
He's still,
Just upkeep, it's maintenance. It's fine. As long as you don't
Still,
look like Cat Lady.
no.
You know.
Jocelyn Wildenstein.
Is that who that
Cat
is?
Lady, yes.
Oh my God! Someone took photos
She looks
of her
like-
eating.
She looks like Ron Perlman, but what's like Ron Perlman in Beauty and the Beast?
I'm very surprised,
Looks
Ron
like
Perlman.
Vincent.
Yeah.
There's pictures. There's pictures of her eating that I found on some website that was just randomly. I wasn't like looking for them. They just popped
I
up.
accidentally came across this website of
Yeah, but
Called-
she's like
toenails
eating
and
it,
fishnets.
You're not here by.
No.
Speaking of weird things, yeah. No.
Gnarly.
But no, I met one of the subwriters on Twin Peaks when I was working at my first real job, which was for that Italian restaurant.
Is it called That Italian?
No, it was called Corleone's, actually. Sort of, the guy was obsessed with The Godfather, and he named it Corleone's. It was, I hated the place, but I only worked there for a few months. But at some point, Carl, my best friend at the time, we were both working there, these people came in one night, and they were with this movie crew, and they needed, some catering done. And so when we basically drove out with them to help them deliver it, because they were filming out at Stonebridge Ranch or whatever. And I don't know what the hell they were making, and I don't remember ever seeing it, or maybe it never got past production. But Harley Payton was there, and Carl was like, "You don't know who that is? He's one of the writers on Twin Peaks," because Carl was a big Twin Peaks nut. He's kind of he's the one who got me into David Lynch. So I got to feed Harley Payton.
Nice.
You
And
got,
then
wait,
proceed
you
to
get to... Oh.
Feed him?
Yeah, feed him. Yeah, it's kind of
It's just so weird.
Image, head. Wow. Now, I got into David Lynch from like Eraserhead and stuff like that. But it's, because Film Geek, I had never watched it until college. We're like, well, we have to watch this movie clearly. I'm like, why don't we have to watch anything? But that's why I'm here, credit, so let's do this.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch Twin Peaks until recently. And even then, it's because I love really bad random movies, obviously. And I loved People Under the Stairs.
Oh, no.
I loved it because it's so weird. But
around the time as Lawnmower Man. All those.
But yeah, that was on. And I didn't, the chick with the one eye and everything. They played mommy and daddy.
Oh, yes. The brother and sister in that. Mommy, daddy, brother, sister, whatever.
Ugh. Fool.
It's a biblical marriage. We were going through that earlier.
I think. Mulholland Drive for me was the. It feels bad to say it's his best movie or my favorite movie, but it's the one that just captured everything. It's like he'd been practicing to make that movie.
I agree. Because I saw, Mulholland Drive.
I've seen it once.
I've seen it like
good.
4 times, and it's just fucking amazing. And it is. I think it's kind of like the culmination of everything he'd been attempting to do for a long time, because you can kind of see it. The movie before that was Lost Highway.
Yes.
And Lost Highway is good, but you can see that's where he stopped caring as much about even trying to give you a linear story and just making something that was truly surreal and dreamlike or whatever. And he started really kind of just letting go with Lost Highway. But if you look at it, Lost Highway and Mulholland Drive are kind of the same story, but kind of told in reverse.
Yeah.
Which I love that, but yeah, I think they're amazing films. But Mulholland Drive is definitely what's the one that came out a few years ago?
Inland Empire.
Inland Empire.
Yes, which I'm a defender of that movie. A lot of people were like,
"Oh yeah, no, I love that one too." But it's fun to watch how David Lynch just gives less and less of a shit about making a movie that anyone gets, which I love about him. Because he's like, I'm not going to make normal movies. That's handled. People have taken care of that. I'm going to make these kind of movies because I like the kind of movies that just sort of happen. And
he makes movies as like a painter paints. Sometimes he may go in with a script, but it's not, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. It's just where the story needs to go and what it needs to become. And I think he's just needs to be seen more as a painter than a filmmaker at times.
I agree. I totally agree.
Kind of like I'll probably say his name, Wong Kar-wai or Kar-wai Wong. I'm a big fan of. Chinese filmmaker. He makes films like you would a jazz musician would compose or perform. And beautiful colors. Most romantic filmmaker in the world is what he's been called. Like he was responsible for 2046. I can't think of any of his other films. Chungking Express, In the Mood for Love. Just amazing filmmaker. Beautiful colors. I mean, I wanted to design my apartment based off colors that I found in his film.
Oh, wow.
Because it's just...
See, I don't think I've ever seen any of his work.
He did one of his first American film was with Jude Law, Norah Jones. It was called My Blueberry Nights. And what's her name? From Natalie Portman.
Okay.
He likes to use singers and musicians in his films, so that's why you have Norah Jones in there. And it's just this beautiful kind of Valentine to America done in his style.
Interesting. And what's his name again?
Wong Kar-wai or Kar-wai Wong or there's yeah.
Interesting. I've got to look that up because I'm not familiar with his work.
He's good, and he makes his actors. He doesn't come with a script. There was one scene he made the actors go through 90 times. There's one scene in My Blueberry Nights. There's a very brief kiss between Jude Law and Norah Jones, and it was an 18-hour shoot just to capture this one kiss.
Wow.
And he makes them go through it over and over and over and over again.
Wow. I love that though. Yeah. I love the filmmaker artists, the crazy ones that'll just that approach it painting, for example, like you said. That's awesome. Not enough of that happens. There's too many filmmakers out there that grew up on bad films and just want to make films like them. And you're like, oh, you're a wonderful craftsman, but wow, you're not giving me anything that I haven't seen already.
Because it's probably a remake that you're watching.
Oh, yes, there's a lot of that.
Yes.
Not enough.
They're going to remake Clue, I heard. And I'm like, how can you remake Clue?
Clue, Fright Night, which, of course, Hellraiser, Child's Play. I'm like, well, a lot of these movies, it's like, why?
Just re-show the original film instead of re-releasing a new Clue. Just take the Clue that's already out there and put it out again. You don't make kids read a new version of Moby Dick.
Because they don't read the old version. But.
Well, that's true. But
with movies, a lot of kids won't watch it if it's older because they feel that it's just it's just like this aversion that the young generation, not just this one, but any young generation has always had against. They're like, well, no, they don't. Well, I don't know any of these people. Who the fuck are they? I'm like, they don't know who Eileen Brennan is or Madeline Kahn or may she rest in peace. They don't know who these people are, so it doesn't mean anything. So they'll remake Clue with a hot young cast that young people can relate to, and I'm like, why?
I don't want to be able to relate to.
I'm like, I don't need.
I can read a script. That doesn't make you an actor, darling.
Oh my God.
You're very pretty. Get off my fucking television.
There's lots of those, but
There is.
when I'm tired and want to watch TV, it's not too bad. Pretty.
Yeah, it's like it's aquarium TV. You know,
Yes.
you're not watching it for any other reason than just to have something on. It's like having the fake fire, or the fake
I love the
aquarium
fake
or whatever.
fire. It's crackling.
What other filmmakers do you like? We don't get a chance to to discuss filmmakers like this, the really odd avant-garde ones that you like, that are kind of in the Lynchian vein.
I think David Lynch is really the only, like, if I had to follow a director, I follow all of David Lynch films, but there's really not another director that I'm like, oh, I would really like to watch his or her films. I have actors or stories that I like to see or watch. This past weekend I went and saw Coco and Igor, which is a film about Coco Chanel and Igor Stravinsky and the affair that they had between them.
Wow.
Starts off, telling up both their sides of the story, and it starts off with Stravinsky's performance of the Rite of Spring, and the riots that took place because of the performance.
Yep.
The whole film, I mean, it was one of the most tense films I've ever watched. Almost had to get up out of the movie theater for a moment to just like step outside and catch my breath. Seemed like there were only about 10 pages of dialogue, and everything is told through music and through visuals. And I'm not sure if it was a French film or a German film, but it had both in it, and it makes you really dislike Coco Chanel, even though it takes two to tango. What she did is she invited Stravinsky and his dying wife and his family to come stay at her, countryside mansion. Then she ends up seducing him, sending his sick wife on her way, and then end up dying alone on her own, and he ends up dying alone on his own, and it's just filled with Stravinsky's music. I mean, it was good. I mean,
I'd heard about it. I didn't know that it was.
And it's a true story about the riots that the Rite of Spring started, because it was punk
rock for the time.
It really was. It starts with, and it's a great story. I love telling this because me being a big music buff myself, the story, and it's not a story, it's confirmed that when this premiered in Vienna, this piece, he, like Stravinsky, he studied to be a lawyer because that's what his family expected him to be. Mm-hmm. And his dad was like, you're gonna go into law, and he just kind of, when he got into college, he just got this sort of late blooming yin from music and decided, well, I want to compose. And at the time, there were all these modern currents kind of coming in. The classicism was dying away, and so you had people like Schoenberg and Berg, all these crazy composers, if you like, coming up with totally new ways to write classical music. And so it was very common for very provocative pieces that just pissed people off, because I fucking paid money for this. There's not a single hummable tune in that bitch. I mean, it happened all the time. But there was some recent study done on the kind of the harmonic framework of this famous passage in the Rite of Spring, where it starts with this very kind of beautiful, if kind of weirdly atonal melody. In the woodwinds, it's kind of like, okay, it's kind of weird, it's kind of windy sounding and searching and whatever, but then it suddenly just jolts into this dun 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 dun, this arrhythmic, bizarre, chord, repetition of this just very dissonant chord. And when that started, people in the audience just started freaking out and rioting, because some of them were booing and hissing, and the others were loving it because they're like, this is great, this is the shot in the arm modern music needs. And
what was great during that, it starts off with that, and people are rioting and leaving the theater. People are actually getting up out of the movie theater and leaving because
it's funny that
they couldn't handle the recreation of it, or this was the story that they were going to watch, and it was just neat to watch people on screen leave, watching people in the movie theater get up and leave.
It's really funny, isn't it? But that's what happened. The Rite of Spring did that. And the kind of interesting thing about it is that less than a year later, the same piece premiered in, I want to say, Habsburg, or somewhere else, but it wasn't that far from Vienna, and everyone loved it. They were like, this is amazing, this is great. So it's in a very short amount of time, I guess the culture metabolized the message of this music and loved it and lauded it, and it's become a classic ever since. And it doesn't really have that effect on people anymore. I mean, Rite of Spring is repertoire. I mean, every orchestra in the world has played it at some point, and audiences pack the houses. But it's funny how it started life as basically punk rock, or the classical equivalent, where people were just like, "What the fuck have you done to music, you son of a bitch?"
Kicking my mics.
And so it's really funny.
I'm so inspired.
dun, dun,
This
dun.
interview's over.
I actually have been dancing around my apartment to it too. This the same way. If you
I have it in my car.
up on-
Actually, I've got a really good recording of it in my car.
Yeah, look up
It's
on
great
YouTube.
driving
Look up Ride
music,
of Spring.
especially when you're pissed off. It's like you get to that point where it's like
Something important is happening here.
No, I've had it up on at the office all week, and I've noticed no one has come to my door or asked for anything all week as long as that's playing. So, just like,
Really?
turned on. Yes.
It's interesting.
Not that I'm trying to keep people away, but it's just
but it helps.
yeah.
It helps focus.
The
Your
litmus test for what mood is Antimere in today? Are you listening
Ride-
to sappy
Ride of
girls
Spring.
playing pianos or the Ride of Spring?
Rite of Spring.
It's
I have a
one
lot
of two things.
I have a lot of bizarre modern classical music, and I love qualifying that term because when I used to tell people I listen to modern classical, it makes no sense, and they'd be like Yanni? Like, no, not at all like Yanni. I mean, like stuff
Oh,
that,
like John Tesh.
stuff that makes your face bleed. Yeah, John Tesh. Don't get me started. But like just crazy guys, people listening, be like, that's not fucking music. What is that? There's just noise. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's music. You just have to listen to it. It's like stinky cheese. You have to develop a taste for it. But yeah, I love that stuff. So
No,
I
you
follow
don't.
I have to. I have to.
If you don't have to, but if you want to like it, you have to develop a taste for it. That I should say.
I don't remember the last time. It was a stinky cheese or something, and I tried it, and I went like, bleh, bleh, and I just handed it to Steven. I'm like, no, blah, and he
Feet
just
cheese.
took it. No, yay,
Wow.
fun. That's a no. Bah. Ah. Put it in your napkin. No. That's my. You guys are talking about this lovely stuff. I'm like, yeah, no cheese. Boo.
Oh, cheese is good. Go at home, sit home, get a block of cheese, watch that show about midgets.
Night
something on
cheese.
TLC.
Get on my night cheese. Yeah.
The little person
I
chat.
was asleep. No, you weren't. Night cheese. I heard you. Oh, 30 Rock.
Yeah, she's my hero. Liz Lemon. I see
love-
a lot of myself in Liz Lemon, which
Probably
working at
get
a
most
production
of-
company. Yeah.
Awesome quotes
It
in
happens,
that show.
yes.
I love it. Steven's obsessed with Kenneth. He loves Kenneth.
Kenneth is good. 10 Commandments.
talking about 30 Rock,
10?
right?
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I need
Oh,
to see
it's-
it. I've
it's-
never seen it. I've been
It's
aware of it for years now.
She
but
gets
I've
away
never-
with saying things and doing
Hilarious.
things that no one else would be able to get away with, but she's able to do it because she knows how to do it very intelligently and
Yeah.
slips it right under, and it just happens so fast.
And so, yeah, the jokes that they put in there, like there's a lot of like, that's clearly funny. That's pretty much anything Tracy Morgan says. But a lot of they're very raunchy subtext in it, but it's so funny just what she gets away with. And Alec Baldwin too, who's in real life an absolute mess, but as Jack Donaghy, he's
Brilliant.
spot on.
Yeah.
Everything from her going to her high school reunion to just obviously her poking fun at SNL because they've got a show that she's the head writer of called TGS, stuff like that. Oh, it's
Nice.
it's so good. But yes, I'm a big 30 Rock fan.
I'm gonna watch it. I have to watch it at some point because everyone has been talking about the show for several years now. It's been.
It's it just finished
It's
its
fourth
fourth
season.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been aware of it.
And
but
she's
I
in the
need to watch
constant
it.
looking for the husband or a boyfriend and, trying to have the job. And as she says, I'm just trying to have it all. And it just, she meets wrong guy after wrong guy. Like, yeah.
I love the James. There's an episode with James Franco where
Oh, with the body pillows.
he
Yes.
he has a fake relation. He has a fake relationship with Jenna. Character named-
Maroney.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jenna Maroney. I forget her real name.
Jane
Krasowski or something like that. Krakowski.
Yeah.
But so they have a fake
yeah.
relationship to cover up the fact that he's in love with Komiko-tan. And it's his pillow, and by the end of it, he's dancing at a nightclub with Tina Fey, and all of a sudden the pillow comes out, and
She's like, let's do this.
and then the next day, she wakes up, and her nephew or cousin is in. He's like, "What did you do last night?" And James Franco comes out. It's like, "What's up?" Then he has a body pillow. He's like, "I'm gonna go."
This is James and Kamiko-tan.
Yeah. All right.
Well, Don Draper, when they had, what's his name? John Hamm, who plays Don Draper on Mad Men. I love that he plays a beautiful, gorgeous, completely stupid, dumb guy.
Lives in a bubble.
Yeah. But everyone, because he's so gorgeous, gives him everything and thinks like, oh, I want to take tennis lessons from you, but he can't even, hit the ball once.
Oh no, that's one of my favorite lines. Is actually from that episode where she's like, "Okay, just because you're pretty, like I'm gonna be honest with you now." And they're playing tennis, and she kicks his ass. And he's like, "This racket is fart, and you're a bitch.
This racket is fart and you're a bitch.
Well, I kind of felt like her a little bit
that.
in that episode when she's first trying to meet him, and she accidentally gets his mail, so she goes through his mail, and then she somehow, because of Tracy Morgan, Jordan, I always get it confused, has some roofies in her purse, and he comes over for dinner or comes over for a party that she planned, but there's actually no one there. She just pretended like, what was it? That he came over a day early for the party, but she happens to have a bottle of wine and all the candles are lit and she's wearing her sexy dress and she's just like, she's going to do this and then I'm going to put my mouth on his mouth. You know, that's what she wants to do.
Well,
he comes over, then he has a headache and he accidentally take a roofie and she says, I really am the Generalissimo.
I don't know what that means. Alec Baldwin also plays a Spanish soap opera gay version of himself.
Yeah, the
He's like,
Generalissimo.
you know what? I am really gay, but wow. And Selma
I have to
Hayek's
watch
in it.
this show
Yeah.
now.
It's the most. We could. I could
Julianne
keep
Moore,
going.
I mean, some of the best guest appearances. Isabella Rossellini's in the first season, and she
Yeah.
says something like, you know I love my big beef and cheddar, because
Yeah, because they have
Jack
an
takes her Arby's
franchise.
away.
Yeah, Isabella Rossellini. She's insane, but
Seeing him
I love
happy
I
makes
love
me want
her,
to
though.
sit on a knife. That was a good line.
Oh my
I
God.
could keep going.
Yeah.
I love that show.
I know,
I do
both
too,
of you,
yeah.
you apparently love this show. I feel.
I'll be Jack, you be Liz.
Well, yeah, I kind of do that anyway. Like the glasses, the chucks. It's like, why are you wearing chucks? Like, they're comfortable.
You and your boot-cut jeans and business sneakers.
Oh, no, but yeah, that's, well, when Clarion let me know that you were obsessed with 30 Rock, I got kind of, I'm just, yay!
yes.
Because Steven likes it, but he just kind of tunes it out sometimes, unless Kenneth is on, because he loves how random and weird backwards he is.
You don't have a chin. How do you put on pillows? Pillowcases. I hope to put on pillowcases. That's what I'm not even saying the lines right. I'm so excited. I'm just like,
and fail.
yeah.
But yeah, it was that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we have
Way
30
to
Rock
fuck up
and
the
running
thing you
into each
love.
other all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Terry and I always, there's one area at work where we just turn the corner at the same time. It's like that scene in Clue when they all run out of the bedrooms at the same time. Boom.
But it
One
had-
day you hit me, though, in a sensitive area. You had, yeah.
You're welcome.
It was like, boom. And
Just, like, okay.
Terry just walked down the hallway with her fists at that level.
Or no, I just kind of
Just
walked
on
kicking the entire time. Just,
Her
man.
foot was asleep. She's
I hope no. Oh, Antimere.
Oh, sorry.
No. Bonding moments.
Yes.
I used to run into the hallways. We'd always pass in the hallways, but we never run into.
I think that was, well, at the old building, there was not really more than one hallway. It was just.
There's the hallway. Yeah.
Yeah, there was, yeah. Now, the one nice thing about the new building at work is that there's lots of places that if you see people coming that you don't want to talk to, there's lots of escape routes, which
you
was
just
not
walk into a
available in the old
studio
building.
and-
We're like whoop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, here's the back way. Whoop.
Yeah.
Secret. Super secret spy way.
Or even in another room, like you've got the booths, which are
can dive into a cubicle.
fantastic. I love the
Yes,
booths. I'm like,
yes,
hey,
yes,
no one's
yes.
recording in here. The light's not on,
Yeah.
and it's so quiet.
And then you can just go and cry and scream, and no one can hear or see you.
Cry, scream, pull your hair out.
The
Hug
mic
yourself.
is on.
And,
I'm like,
I do that a lot. I cry and I scream.
You cry and you cry and you scream a lot. Mm-hmm. On purpose,
Usually
like-
before an audition. Just to get it out of my system so I don't do it while I'm auditioning because it very rarely works for the characters I'm going out for.
see, that's what I've been doing wrong.
I'll just find a booth and be like,
All right,
and,
it's J. Michael Tatum reading for.
yeah, that's how I've won most of my roles, actually. I just cry in the booth. And I
Thanks
think
for
they give it to me.
calling.
Hey, sorry, I'm going to read for this character.
And then-
I think I... Yeah.
And it just comes out all smooth and whatever.
And then this happens, yeah. I wish.
Thanks for.
Thanks
That was an interesting read.
okay.
Let's come in for it again.
Let's try. Give me line 4 again, and this time a lot less tears. Because he's actually happy in this moment. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it never works.
Can you imagine?
no.
Oh my god. We all set up at the same
Awkward
time.
pause.
Awkward
Yes.
pause. So I suppose you should probably tell our listeners, since we're been babbling now for the past half
I did
hour.
love your bio.
Oh, thank you.
Why don't you describe a little bit about what you do at Funimation?
Well,
Because you are a fixture. There.
I'm an official whipping boy of the company.
That's his title.
Yes, whipping boy. I was about to go to a whole other thing that I'm not even gonna.
That's your moonlighting.
That's a
You
whole
moonlight
color
something.
combo left right thing. Funimation, I am the manager of creative services.
Yay.
What that means basically is that I manage, oversee, and direct our creative departments, which is our web department, copywriting department, art department, packaging department, promotional video department. I help lead the teams, and we are responsible for, the packaging, the branding, logo design, menu design, trailers, commercials, websites, marketing materials, all the headlines, taglines, anything that, all that stuff. And I started off doing DVD menus, so 8 years ago. So
Wow, 8 years.
yeah, I think there were only about 30 of us at Funimation at the time, and we were just in one little small section of that building in North Richland Hills, and we had 5 brands at the time, and now 8 years later, we have over 200 brands, over 100 employees, an awesome new building. And I mean, now there's people working at Funimation I don't even know, and there was a time when that wasn't,
I don't know you. Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? Where do you come from? Where do you office? What is this?
Yeah.
Who are you? What do you do? Why are you wearing that?
No, I do get, and it's weird, not a little bit, I don't know, protective, or what's the word? Like when I see new people in the building, like I'm like, who are you?
I do it too. I always do this, like, hey, how's it going? And like
when did that person start?
You get
Who is that?
suspicious.
It feels like
shifty eyes.
not like mine.
You become like someone in
Kinda.
a small town, like you're like, hey, stranger.
Yeah.
Where are you looking
I'm
for?
totally like Weezer and Steel Magnolias. When we get a new employee, like Annelle, Daryl, Hannah, so what's your story? When did you start working here?
Well, I saw
Are you or
I saw
are you not married?
I can see it in the hallway. Now, I saw you run that stop sign. I keep thinking to myself, surely this little lady wouldn't do this in her own town.
What?
Thank you. That awkward moment brought to you by.
I just see you being, policing the hallways, but it's funny because you get protective, or I guess not protective isn't the word. You get what is the
I don't
word?
know.
We all do.
Ownership.
I do
doesn't
it
have
too,
ownership
and
with it.
I always have to remind. I'm like, I work on one side of the building. I'm surprised I know anyone on the other side. Honestly, sometimes, but someone was knocking on the door because the receptionist wasn't there, and I almost didn't open. I'm like, who are you here to see?
Yeah, no.
I don't know you. Oh, I'm a new actor. Mm-hmm.
That's
And
what they
you're
all
with,
say.
who's the director?
What
time?
studio? Suspicious. Zach. Who's Zach Bolton? I don't know that guy.
Shh, you're making him up.
Or depending on who's at the door knocking, I'm the director. Come this way. Auditioning over here.
Ooh, yeah. That probably has happened
Hope
to
you
me.
get that.
Yeah,
No.
but it's funny. So it's been crazy to see the company grow as much as it has.
Yeah, I mean,
it's grown
it's-
exponentially.
Yeah, it's here it's 8 years later, and time has just gone by so fast. I don't know if that's just with getting older. Everyone feels that way, but
Time
it
accelerates
just
as one ages.
yeah, it was like I said, we had 5 brands. I was doing DVD menus for Fruits Basket, and now we have we're
Fruits
doing
Basket.
co-productions with EA, and BioWare. I mean,
That's so cool.
we're a bigger
really
company now.
It's
growing up.
really neat to see it grow. We're growing up.
Yeah,
Because I remember the old building when it was relatively small. And now, granted, I not 8 years ago, but I guess it's been about 5 or 6 years.
it's been a while. Yeah,
And I remember the old building, and it's fun. I just remember going to I remember the first day in the new building there in Flomo. And
Flower Mound.
but I
Right down the
walking in that
street
new building
from
and
the
being like,
colony.
just being overwhelmed by it. The colony. There's a lot of weird.
There are
names.
some weird. When I first moved here, I was
Grapevine,
terrified. There was the
Lindsdale.
colony. There was White Settlement.
Doesn't sound
Red
right.
Oak.
Red Oak. McKinney. Wait. That's
Yeah,
not
that was
Red
McKinney.
Oak.
Crackerville.
What?
Crackerville.
Are you serious?
No.
Oh, there's a Cut and Shoot, Texas.
Yeah, there's a cut and shoot. There's also a Money,
Oh,
Texas,
What?
somewhere. It's a little bitty town. It's somewhere in East Texas.
and there's like Lithuania and Paris and Ethiopia.
There is a
It might be in
Paris.
Ethiopia, Texas. I don't
We
know.
do
There's
have
a
an
lot of weird-
actress that she drives from Paris, and there are a lot of people like, where? What?
Apparently, somewhere nearby here, and not just here, but all over the place in Texas, according to my Garmin, my little satellite tracker, is there is the United Confederate States of Micronesia. That's whenever you.
I'm sure.
It's not
They're
really.
very,
It's a
very
joke
tiny.
because every time if you
You just passed it.
if you switch the Garmin to like a British accent, Because the woman will read it 2 different accents, and they say things like "turn south on Davis Drive." You mean Davis? No, it's Davis.
Recalculating. That's all I know with those. Recalculating. Like if you
make her sound from the
miss
Bronx.
your turn, and it's all this passive aggressive.
Calculating, since apparently my directions aren't good enough for you.
Or no, we went to Joel's show and Steven wouldn't listen to the Carmen, and she just kind of went like, "Turn around," like that.
You're on your fucking own then. But no, if there's several spots in the area that are off the satellite, and so whenever you go, the default name for it or for the road, if the computer doesn't know the name, is like the Confederated States of Micronesia or some crazy shit like that. And we're like, what?
Why
what
not?
Are we here? And I think it's very strange, but it's very funny. That's only on the British setting.
Mm-hmm.
So you have worked. So you've done this for 8 years, you said.
Yeah.
And you started out as just a menu
DVD menus.
designer,
Yes,
right?
but that wasn't enough. I wanted to design the DVD covers too, and then I wanted to move up and help manage more. And
Now, was it easier at the time because it was a small enough company and it was just kind of easy to sort of take on more responsibility because because it was just kind of the nature of the game that was like there was enough work coming in and.
I feel like we've been as busy then as we are now. It's like as our work has grown, our employee base has grown. So I feel just as busy as I was working on 5 brands 8 years ago by myself. Not by myself. There were other people doing DVD menus and such as well. It was just me.
Man.
Well, no, there was a very small group of us that did the DVD covers, and then we merged departments. Design was under marketing at one point, and then Carly Hunter, who's our vice president, vice president of creative, was in charge of DVD menus. So we just moved things together that belonged together, so that the same person doing the cover was doing the menus, was doing the advertising, and
that's awesome. And let me just say, I think you're incredibly talented. The whole department is clearly because
we have a good team.
The team is great, but I love your stuff. I think it's wonderful. You're clearly passionate about it, but
thank you. Yes.
Well, I used to go to your office and be like, "What have you got? I want to see this," and you'd show me this box or that box that was in design.
Now you're not allowed on that side of the building.
Now I'm not allowed. Yeah, that's definitely. I'm allowed. I go over there.
I do
Well,
too.
good.
I know.
Our fans are very passionate about it, and so a lot of the people that work at Funimation are very, we're passionate about it. We're not doing it half-cocked. We're going all out and want to make something that we really are very proud of.
I think that's clearly what puts, and I mean this honestly. I say this as a fan. I think that's what sets Funimation apart from some other companies, that I imagine just because it's run by fans. People that are very, very passionate about the shows they work on and the people they work for, and they get their best to it. Just the quality of the product we put out, I think is or the Funimation, I say we. But the Funimation,
the royal
the product is really, you can tell, and I think, that's just me. It may sound like I'm towing the party line, but I honestly feel that way just as a fan. Because I having known you and other people on that side of the building.
I don't think we're going to argue with you here.
If we didn't care so much about it, I wouldn't, go home at the end of the day and be like, my very first volume of Fruits Basket. If you got one of the first ones that came out, if you turn it over and look at the back, you see that it has 7 uncut episodes. Talk about my part. Very first DVD wrap I ever designed, put out, and it had 7 uncut. No, I don't. It was, and to this day, every day now, obviously 8 years ago, I've not been able to let it go. I put something else out. I'm like, did I spell everything right? It's.
I remember you showing me years ago because I was very excited about the show's release. I was still kind of new myself, and I was getting to know everyone up there. And you were one of the first people I did know on that side of the building. And you showed me what you guys are working on for Speedgrapher.
Yes,
that was a fantastic show. But it got the box set. It got the packaging it deserved. Mm-hmm. It absolutely did, and it remains one of the most beautiful jobs I've ever seen, and I love it.
That's one that's in my portfolio.
As well,
one that I like to show people. It's like
you're also in it. You're in a few anime.
I am.
You are. You've done some.
I have Bob and Speedgrapher. Yes,
Indeed.
The gay American masseuse.
Woo!
Yes. I tend to play the more flamboyant characters just because I think it's fun to queen out in the booth every once in a while.
It is fun.
I love that Bevins was having me sub for him one day on LCAS, and I'm like, oh, who is this going to be? He's like, well, this is clearly going to be McFarland and Antimere. I'm like, what do you mean clearly? It's like, just think about it. Get back to me.
Yeah, I got to play Tranny in that one too.
They came back. They just kept coming back.
So funny.
Yes.
I think it was really funny because I think when Bruce and I were working on Romeo and Juliet, we decided to cast you as Aeschylus the tree.
Yes.
Just because we wanted
I found myself. I googled myself one day.
We just wanted you to. We just wanted to have you in the cast.
Yeah. Well, I did the packaging for that, so I thought that was great.
You're playing Aeschylus the tree. That's you. That's Antimere. Because we love you.
Because I'm the tallest person in the building. Yeah.
How's that? Give me one more and even more tree.
Like, yeah, there's no,
awesome.
like, just listen to, okay, all of us are giving you tree.
Yes.
Everyone's silence was because Stephen was trying to inobtrusively hand us questions.
Yes. Breaking news.
I don't know why he bothers being quiet. He's just walking and be like, here, fuckers.
That would be fun.
I was like very much breaking news. Like, we've been attacked.
This just in.
I'm going to do the Walter Cronkite.
No.
That's tasteless. Wow, your husband has very beautiful handwriting.
I wouldn't know.
I thought you said he wrote like a doctor.
He did.
I think he
got
tried.
better.
I think he
was probably like,
he used the slide rule.
Fuck. All right. We ran out of ink. Oh my gosh.
Do you want to take? What do you
Yeah.
say? So we've got some really good questions. Why don't we take a little break and then we will come back to the questions
Yes.
after our little break,
Yes.
and then we will focus.
We'll be back after this.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
And we're back.
And
Yes.
we're back. I think you're going to do that Levine.
And we're back.
Can you
And
do
we're back.
Can you do Buffalo Bill voice?
She about a size 14.
Oh, God.
Is she a great big old fat person? Oh, wait. Yeah. You don't know what pain is.
Put the lotion in the basket.
Rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again. Don't you hurt my dog.
She's hurt real bad, mister. We're doing like radio theater.
I'm scared.
You could be Jodie Foster, Tatum.
No, I'm Hannibal Lecter. Fuck you.
Goodbye, horses.
I ate his liver
Crying over
and a nice
you.
Chianti.
Goodbye, horses. Actually, I have that song on my iPod when he does the tuck scene. It's actually a really good song.
You know what's so funny? Cheryl from
Obviously.
Canada actually asks,
That's a great segue.
have you ever done the time warp? If paid the right amount of money, will you do the Buffalo Bill dance? That's quite funny.
Oh, no.
No.
He's doing the Buffalo Bill dance for us
I
right now,
did,
actually.
yes,
And we
it's,
paid him nothing. He's a very cheap date.
I would do me. Would you fuck me? I would fuck me.
Oh, God, please.
Terrifying.
No, actually, I did do the time warp a lot in high school. Friends and I would go to the midnight showing, and you know,
You big Rocky Horror.
well, it was in high school. I haven't been to Rocky Horror in a very, very, very long time. And it was also before I ever did any type of drinking or anything else like that. So I can't imagine how much fun that was in high school going to do this sober. Because now it's so much more fun not to do sober. But I would do Buffalo Bill dance.
I don't
You didn't
know
say
if
on video, so I
There
could.
you
Yeah, I'll do it right now.
Yeah, there you go.
No.
No, I was trying to get the zipper. Could we get the zipper? Sorry. I need a good silk throw, though, like he wears, you know.
Just go into the studio. It's
Go to yeah,
Well, there's that thing on the wall
yeah,
right
there you go.
there.
There's one right behind you, actually. Just put it on.
not silk,
Be
unfortunately.
Buffalo Bill dance
Tactic.
and Virgin Mary.
Pretend it's silk.
No.
All right. So yeah, that was an excellent first question.
Yes.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Cheryl.
and here comes. This is a really good question coming from Bailey.
Bailey.
Bailey says, I would like to start off with, I love you, you're awesome.
Aw, thank you.
Bailey asks, what is your work life like? How many hours a day or week do you work? And what advice would you give to someone who one day wished to get into graphic design or to be a graphic designer? And so those are...
Oh, for me, I mean, sounds good. The job really never ends. You know, I try to spend, the typical, you have to spend 40 hours in the office every day, but I take my work home
Every
with
day?
me. Every day. Well, 5 days a week, excuse me.
It's like 40 hours. How do you find the time?
Yeah, no, it's at least, I mean, more than 40. I mean, because I take the work home. There's just so much to do, and I enjoy working on it. I come in the office between 8 and 9, leave maybe between 5 and 6, and to get into graphic design, I would say you not only do you really need to learn how to use the programs, but you really need to learn how to think. Learning how to use the programs themselves, or being a good artist and being able to draw, is not enough when you want to do, graphic design. The point of graphic design is to help communicate a message, so you're not there to write your novel or paint your painting. Artwork is just meant to make people feel. I'm like getting tripped up over in this question here.
Well, it's very close to what you do, and that's
it's hard to explain.
It's hard to explain, I imagine.
You have to make something that you're personally pleased with, but it has to be able to communicate the message that whoever your boss or the company that you work for or whoever has paid for you to do graphic design, you're getting their message across. And
so you kind of have to subsume your desire to be like the next Jackson Pollock or whatever, and make what you're being paid to make, but to put all the passion that you would put into that great painting into the box you're designing or the menus or whatever. I mean, and kind of an extension of that question, if I may, because I'm fascinated by this. What is your thought process when you're making something? Like when you sit down with a show to make the box for and then the menus? What's your thinking? I mean, what's your method? How do you go about like choosing the imagery and kind of teasing out that message?
Okay.
How does that? I mean, is it something you could describe, or is it just something that comes naturally to you? I mean, is it instinct or is it?
I know exactly what the box is going to look like before the show is even made. No, since it is a business, we get the creative team together and we work with the brand manager. There's always a brand manager in charge of a show, and we sit down first and we do the creative brief. And the creative brief is where we figure out, what is this show about? What are we telling people that the show is about? Some of our shows have, so many other in-depth stories and side plots and blah, 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 but we have to get to what the core of the message of the show is. And a good one for that is, Shikabane Hime, Corpse Princess. So we sit down and I can't remember the brand positioning statement off the top of my head. This is something you find on the creative brief. It's the one statement, if you had 5 seconds to tell someone what the show is about, what is it about? And I think our brand positioning statement is something like, Maka is a undead woman with 2 machine guns, and she's out to kill other undead things. And it's actually much more eloquent than that, but I can't think about it. So, that's our brand positioning statement. We decide, what the tone of the creative is going to be, what the brand or the personality of the show is. And going back to the positioning statement, saying that she's an undead girl with 2 Mac 11s who kill zombies, every piece of artwork, the packaging, the advertising, the trailer must show a female with 2 machine guns in her hands killing things. If we ended up showing some of the, something else from the story, that the artist maybe thought was really pretty or someone else just thought was much more interesting. If it doesn't come back to the creative brief and fulfill the need of the creative brief, then we haven't done our job. And
so there is that kind of unifying idea of like the sort of mission statement, I guess, of a particular brand.
Yes.
It's like, everything kind of falls under that umbrella.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, we watched the trailer for that, and it's kind of funny to hear that and then go back to what I saw in the trailer, and it's like,
Yeah.
She shoots a lot, and she never runs out.
No, she doesn't. No. That's the magical thing about,
Now, do you ever find yourself in, having, say, designing this box set, you come up with an image that may depart a little bit from that mission statement. Maybe she's only holding 1 gun or whatever.
Right,
I mean, that's kind of, glib sounding, but you know what I mean? And do you then have to go back and kind of justify it as a high concept? Be like, well, this does kind of relate to it, but in this way, I mean, do you ever do that? Or is there any...
We would do that. Unfortunately, we don't have, huge advertising budgets. We're able to go out and advertise, maybe once or twice really strongly. And with, the number of anime that are out there, the number of fans that are interested, we have to find ways to let you know that this show is what this is about. This show is different from this show. This show is different from this show. So we try to get down to, just the very base point.
Yeah.
With Shikabane Hime or Corpse Princess, it is an action show. So we also need to make sure that... if she's only holding 1 gun, but she's in an awesome action pose, that still fulfills the brief. But if she's just standing there looking sexy, and has no guns and looks like she's, just looking off in the distance, full of ennui, then that's not. We're doing a disservice to the fans because we're not letting you know what the show is really about. Yeah, and I think choosing imagery like that comes with a little bit of maturity. When I first started, I just want to make stuff that looks cool. I'm an artist, this is my art, and it's not your art when you're a designer. You're working for another company. And we try to make stuff that the fans like. We mentioned earlier that we are a bunch of fans. Typically, the designer working on the show is a fan of the show, so they're going to do everything they can to please you and please themselves. And we are much tougher on ourselves than the fans ever are. So we also try to get the fans as many pieces of artwork as possible.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'm really proud of with Funimation. There's 12 releases in Japan. We maybe put out 2 releases and then another box set and another box set. And our goal is to make sure that you get every piece of artwork that's available, because we would want that, because there's just so much. You know, you want to dive into the whole world of a show. You want to have
that's something that approach is really, I think, it's very effective, obviously, because it makes sure that the show gets the audience it deserves.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing. I mean, from all of our perspective in production and graphic design and all that, you know, we want to see this show that we've worked on and we've loved and nurtured and whatever.
Yeah.
We want the audience that we know is going to love it and get it to find it. And so, you know, and it's hard to do that in this jungle of noise, you know, that we have in this day and age. So I don't envy your job. I realize how incredibly difficult it must be, but I appreciate it because you guys do it incredibly well. So
thank you.
Well,
You're welcome.
on that same vein, let me see. This is from Alan McLeod. McLeod.
Isn't that Highlander?
McLeod.
Yes,
He's a
What's
regular.
that? Thomas Jane? Not Thomas Jane.
Thomas Jane?
No.
Man, he got picked on in school.
Who's the guy?
Christopher Lambert.
Christopher
Lambert.
Okay, I got
Oh,
him
yeah,
confused
He
yeah.
looks
with
like
someone
Thomas Jane.
Who's Thomas Jane?
Thomas Jane. He was in like.
He was the Punisher.
He was the Punisher. He was
He's in that new show Hung.
Hung. He was in that
wow.
Deep Blue Sea shark.
He's like a
movie.
poor man's Aaron Eckhart.
Ah,
A little
okay.
bit.
Okay, I think I know. who
Yeah,
you're talking
he's
about.
he's getting a little rougher as the years go by. Did you ever watch Arrested Development?
I did.
The one where Portia de Rossi actually thinks she's dating a homeless guy, but he's Tom Jane. That's him.
Okay.
That's Thomas Jane.
Okay.
He's a good one, yeah.
He is,
All right,
okay. Sorry.
okay, let me see. He
Sorry, I got
does.
sidetracked
That's immediately
there.
what I thought. Though is I'm like, you look like Christopher Lambert. Let me see. I suppose I've known Antimere's work for quite a while now, but never recognized to whom I should attribute it. He's done some pretty amazing work. The Speed Grapher box set is probably the only DVD set I own that I can call beautiful. Very many kudos to him for that particular piece.
Oh, no, I thank you.
Oh.
That was one of those shows, too, where we had so many pieces of art, and that's why if you got the special editions of the single releases, you notice it was a digipack. It had one disc in it, but I made sure that there were 8 panels in the packaging filled with the artwork that came from Japan, because it was just... I mean, it was cool. Not one piece of artwork looked like another one. Speed Grapher is one of those, I don't know, like Hellgirl, where we just got some really, really good art, you know. And I like to be in awe of what the Japanese do, and I think it's cool for our fans to be in that awe as well, I guess.
Yes. I still have not watched it.
It's good. It's
You haven't
Grapher.
seen
It's
Speed
a little
Grapher
bit
yet.
dirty. I mean,
Well,
we've
we've
definitely
talked
worked
about
on
this,
some
remember?
dirtier
Yeah,
shows since
you really
then.
you do need to watch it. I suspect you and that show would become great friends because it is a great show, and I
I've
think
heard
it's
this
it's
many
I think it's one of
times.
the best dubs. It's
You
Bevan
get to hear J.
considers
Michael Tatum or J. Michael Tatum. Is that
You can call me Michael. It's
Michael?
okay.
You get to hear Michael.
We're friends.
As like I wouldn't say you're a leather daddy, more like a leather dandy.
Rubber Dandy.
Rubber
It's
Dandy.
Rubber Dandy.
Rubber Dandy.
He's
Yeah,
he's a
he's a-
character. He's only in the first 4 episodes, and he's one of a group of people called euphorics who can. They're basically. I won't go into detail because it's too involved.
Can turn into whatever your fetish is.
Yeah, they can basically their power. They have superpowers that reflect their deepest, darkest desires. And he's a dancer, a ballet dancer, a very good one, and he's obsessed with flexibility. And so he can put on this really creepy gimp rubber suit and become like infinitely stretchable and can mutate in different forms and kills people for a living and loves it and does so in a very sort of choreographed way and enjoys his work. There's a lot of orgasm noises and stuff, but very first scene, he's just danced the bolero of Ravel, and he goes backstage afterwards all pissed off because he feels like he hasn't done good. And there's Stephanie Young in the dressing room with her little daughter who's like, you said you'd give my little daughter lessons and whatever. And he's like, whatever, let's go ahead and see what she's got. And he's very dismissive of this little girl who then starts to pirouette and do this little move. And he just starts screaming at her that she's just doing it wrong. And he grabs her arm to bend it back more because she's not as flexible and breaks her arm. Yes. Little girl passes out from the pain. Stephanie Young grabs her, runs screaming from the room. And he's like, ugh. Whatever. He's like the biggest dick I have ever played, ever. He's just an absolute son of a bitch. And you're kind of glad to see him go.
Yay.
But that was the second thing I ever did. Ever.
Really?
The second role I ever had. Because the first thing was Samurai 7. And then before we were just finished that, and Bevins was starting on Speed Grapher. And he was like, I want to try you on this guy. It's just one session's worth of work because he's only in 4 episodes and not that much. But it was a very memorable role. I thought, wow.
What I like
okay,
about
we
Speed
go from
Grapher is
playing-
that I'm 2 steps away from Dolph Lundgren now if you play the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon game.
I do all
I
the
was
time.
in Speed Grapher with, I think her name Pam Doherty. Is she the one who
Yeah,
played the
yeah.
mom? And then she was in Universal Soldier with Dolph Lundgren. Woohoo.
You're only 3 degrees away. Yes. I love your performance in Speedgrapher, by the way.
That was fun.
That's really you are amazing in that show. I mean, that's a character that anyone else could have done, and Bevins had directed it differently, which thank God he didn't. But he's such a good, sensitive director to the, he wants to make sure none of the characters could. That character could.
A
have
weepy
been really
gay guy
ridiculous.
who's used to getting dumped. I think I could play that role just fine.
But you do it justice. He doesn't. It could have been a joke in other hands, and I think you handle it really well. And he ends up being a very sympathetic character, especially towards the end when you just get to know him. He's.
And I got to fly a helicopter and save the day, so that was fun.
And then
flying a helicopter is so much fun. Well, see, we have that. And
you both play gay characters
I
that fly
love-
helicopters.
I love playing.
You played a helicopter?
In a show very similar to Speedgrapher in tone. Ren is very much.
And I love that. That was my one. That was when I went. I am so gay. Not having sex with Jamie. I'm like, I fly a chopper. I am so.
That's what makes you gay.
I just wanted to moan in that show. Sometime I want to be in a show and just moan and be dirty. I think it'd be fun.
It's fun to do. It's very liberating. Like I said, the very second thing I ever did was
Let's do it
while
now.
killing people.
Let's hear your best moan. Come on, give me a moan.
It's gonna be a.
Is that what you sound like when you're? Because that's terrible. Give us one. You give us one. You start us off. You sound like you just had a really good bowel movement. That's what
I had to be like a rock star this morning. Let me just say. Speaking of, constipation earlier, we were trying to figure out why there were no commercials with men who were constipated. Kick it like you want it.
Nice. First moaner.
That's not going to be
TAS history right now.
And I don't really
That's
moan
not
like
gonna
that.
be
I'm much
coming.
more quiet. I make more facial expressions than I do sounds.
Give me some facial expressions. That sounds like someone just surprised you. I mean, that looked like someone just surprised you.
That's usually what it's like.
Like you were washing dishes and
Like,
someone just came
were
up
you
behind
back?
you. Oh, God. Oh, okay. Hi. I
crap.
didn't even know you were home. Hey. Yeah,
Thank you.
okay, come on. Your turn. You going to do it?
Huh? Last time I had to do a sex scene with you directing me, you refused to look at me, and now you want me to just do it
It's different now because it's embarrassing. For all of us.
No.
Okay. You could have done something like,
There you go.
I had a roommate once that sounded, and it was a guy who was straight, who sounded like, swear to God.
It varies, but with Jamie and Rin, I wasn't making a lot of noise. There was a lot of
Muffled.
well,
Like making
recording it, my
conversation.
mouth was shut because it's not like you saw
Recording.
my mouth.
Oh.
It's,
What a horrible
it's
sound
like
to make.
aliens. I think the first
That's more like
the
a
first
motorboat.
cue that we went in.
Britsky.
Oh my God! Someone help me! It's like you're in a gas mask. You go.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
just did. That's what I sound like.
I don't sound like. Oh yeah. Thank you.
I think your neighbor outside heard us because he looked this way briefly when I just
I know what they're recording
Or
in that room.
like all of us. What? Hi.
I like Steven's version. He goes,
He does it just for you.
I know.
Hi, Tatum.
I know.
These two,
If
Steven
I
and
was-
Tatum, are like Facebook lovers.
we like to
You sit on each other's Facebooks.
Yeah.
We like to IM each other and freak each other out by being as gross and disgusting as possible.
Like
And I
Facebook
usually
chicken.
win.
Really?
Yeah, because he'll usually be like, "All right, yeah, you kind of creep me out now." I'm like, "Win." That's usually
Because then it gets to the point where You know, we're doing instant message. Is he being serious? No.
Oh, wait, wrong message. That should have gone to someone.
Sorry, I was meaning to.
Sorry, everybody. Sorry.
Sorry. All right,
where do
bringing
you
this
go,
back
Alex?
down to classy subjects.
Yes.
We're all about class.
Back
Lowborn
up,
here.
whatever.
Classy moment.
Allie. Is it Allie?
Hi,
Allie Littman.
Allie? Okay, good. Because it's like Steven's handwriting is fucked. I'm kidding. Steven's handwriting is nice. I just want to make sure I'm reading it correctly. I guess this could go for all of us, but obviously this is.
Oh, no. Heard that before.
What's your favorite position? No, that's not Allie's question. Allie's question is which show?
Willing uncle into a full participant.
Sorry, I just totally forgot where I am and what I'm doing right now. What is this? What's happening?
Creepy uncle
name's
into a
Tatum,
full
you're
willing
reading a
participant.
question.
That's what it should have been.
Sha-la-la-la. Do you need me to read it?
That's the sound I can make when that's the sound I make. No. Okay, Allie asks, which show that you've worked on has been the most visually appealing to you and why?
Visual
Or-
appealing.
I guess you don't have to pick the one favorite. You can pick a handful if you like, if there's any that stand out.
Well, I know that Hellgirl kind of spoke to me because I know what it's like to be a tiny little girl that wants to send people to hell sometimes.
Don't we all?
The artwork for Hellgirl, Beyond Speedgrapher was one of those
That's
when we first
beautiful-
got it in. It was
another
just like, look at
Gorgeous box
this.
set. That is really, yeah.
Thank you. And with that, one of the best things a designer can do, and it's one thing that I think you can notice in my approach to my packaging, is that a good designer, especially when you have really good pieces of art, does not need to do a whole lot of things to it. The mistake a lot of designers make is, I'm going to put my touch on this. I want to make sure that that I worked on this and I designed this, and I'm going to use this, framework that I use on everything that I ever designed because I really like, Rococo frames. And it's like, no, it's more about just highlighting what's already there. So if you look at the covers of the Hellgirl DVD covers in the box set, all I did to design was put a gold border around it, and put a gold stamp on the logo, let the art be the art. All I had to do was put it in a really nice frame. It's
a nice approach.
It's not my art in the first place. Someone else in Japan, this is their art. This is what they worked on. This is them. A lot of artists say, that their work is themselves, and I'm not going to come in and say, well, you obviously didn't know what you were doing. I need to come in as an American and fix your art. It's just doing what I can to help highlight what's already there. And you'll see that, with Speedgrapher, not a lot of intrusive design on it. My goal with the back of the first volume on that was just to highlight the diagonals in that image of Kagura lying on the ground. It's what can I do just to accentuate the art to help elevate it.
So it is kind of would you say, like a Zen-like approach, where it is just you kind of accepting what is there and doing your job to sort of, well, as you said, put in a beautiful frame, which is great. I mean, because the opposite approach, the presumption that this artist that's already given you this great stuff, well, you don't know what you're doing, so I'll improve on it. Does seem to. So I guess what you're saying is that to be a good graphic designer, you have to really care about. And really connect to the art that you're working with, and not try to. You
have to know when to step
put it in
back and not say
quotations.
anything.
Not try to put yourself in it so much that it loses that quality that made you love it to begin with.
Right.
It's a good approach. I think that's a good approach to anything, personally, but especially in what you do. I'm just very impressed with you. I am. I always have been. I am. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of love for you in this room. I do. I think some of your box sets, any of your box sets that I've done.
I've done a couple that I don't think are that great. I'm not going to name those right now, but
everyone has their. Everyone has their.
Well, you can look at anything that you've done and go, I could have done this differently.
Yeah.
But any of yours, I think, are just gorgeous and they're just really wonderful, and they do justice to the show. And I think they're a very integral part as to how the shows get as popular as they do, or find the audience here in the States that they deserve. As I said earlier, that's good. I mean, it's a very integral part of that, which is why people like you are very important to all of us. All of us, the fans too, which is why I'm glad that you get recognized. That
really... I'm about to sink down in my chair and hide now. Just stop talking about me.
No, this is great. I think what you're doing is every bit an art form, and I think you're good at it precisely because you don't approach it as something that this is me. I have to do this and put my stamp on it. It's not this self-centered approach of I want people to know that this is my work, rather than just I want people to know the show, and or the art that these animators have created. And that's what makes your work so good. It's because it's a collaboration, not a competition.
Thank you.
Well said.
Yeah.
I just realized I'm like, well, with the neighbor perhaps reacting to the moaning, I'm like, we have people come here to record every Saturday, so they think we're having...
They're going to think this is like that place, the Cherry Pit over in Arlington.
What?
Swingers club that people were having out of their house.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
I've heard of this.
I'm new to the neighborhood. I've already made a name for myself. Sweet. Well, the first time my neighbor came over, I was watching Rin.
Oh. Next time they come over, you should be watching Speed Grapper. That's another one to chase your neighbors off with. That's a great show.
All right.
My dad watched Speed Grapper and loved it.
Oh,
my
really?
mom was like, "What? I don't even." My mom couldn't get over the fact that this was an adult-oriented animated anything.
Yeah.
And I was
Really?
like, "You probably don't want to
Cartoons,
watch
why
this."
are
She's
there-
like, I don't understand that. Like, who watches this? I'm like, a lot of people.
Lots of people.
A lot of people. And she's like, I just don't.
Should
Okay.
have seen. Yeah, Wicked City, I think, was one of the first anime that I ever bought that was fun to show people because it was very shocking. You know, you have that spider lady at the beginning with the dentata in her area. And it was just like, that was one of the fun things about anime. I remember when I started watching it in high school was the shock value a little bit, but now it's, you know, there's more than just shock in anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
The shock is
rambling on
always just a kind of launching pad for more interesting ideas, if the show is good. Like Speed Grapper, for example. I mean, on the surface, yeah, it's a very, very shocking, very extreme show, but then there's a lot going on beneath the surface once you can get past that and not get desensitized to it, but kind of understand the larger story that's going on, that it's this, you know...
Money cannot buy you happiness.
Money cannot buy you happiness, and in fact often does quite the opposite for you. But
Though I'm willing to try and find out myself.
I mean, I'm willing to go down that path.
Well,
I mean, you know, I
yeah.
think... I don't know that Speed Grapper's moral was that money doesn't buy you happiness so much that you should try out and just to see that, you know, if it doesn't.
That's what he's saying.
Very interesting parent-teacher conference episode.
Yes.
All
Oh,
right,
God,
got
yes.
Questions for all of
Okay.
us from Madeline.
Madeline.
Madeline, first question actually goes to all of you. Well, both of these are for all of us. Does it ever stop being weird hearing your own voice and stuff you're involved in? No, for me.
I can't hear, like, if I go back and like watch Speed Grapher, I can't stand to hear, like,
Yourself?
I just sit there going like, God, I sound like that, because you hear yourself, you can't see the character, so I can't watch it enjoying it and saying like, oh, here's this character Bob. It's more like, how am I doing, you know? I can't.
I used to be that way, and to some extent I still am, but I do feel I have to go back and watch it because I feel that, you know, as an actor, it helps you. It helps me improve, I think, to go back and listen to my stuff and kind of learn and kind of make opinions. I mean, I tend to take very copious notes on stuff. It may take me a year to get around to watching something, you know, that I'm like, oh, I remember loving recording this, and I don't want to hate it. Like, I don't want to lose that mystique when I watch it and go, oh, I remember sounding a lot better than I do. You know, that's happened sometimes where I'll watch something and be like, oh, I thought it'd be better than that. I really felt the performance was better than that. And you know, it's just me being hard on myself. But you have to be hard on yourself. I mean, that's
There's nothing that you've been in that you haven't watched.
I've watched everything. Now, that's not to say that I haven't watched everything I've been in.
Everything I've ever been in.
I haven't watched everything I've been in. I haven't watched anything. I haven't watched everything I've been in.
Strangers watch everything that I've ever been in.
All the way through. I don't do that. I don't like to subject
I
other
do
people
focus
to it
groups. I
occasionally.
invite people.
Where do you think I should improve here?
What have you?
But,
What else have you
It's
played?
great. It's
Terry?
great.
Just
Besides moaning and Ren.
besides moaning and Rin, I'm in Shikabana Hime. Shikabana wow wow. And a lot of just random bit parts. The first thing I ever did was Tsubasa, which Joel called me in for like a woman A thing. It turns out she came back in like 3 episodes. So I just kept coming back, and then Bevins was stupid enough to give me work. Stupid man. All right, and let me see. The other half of, the second question is, what kind of character would you love to play, anime, non-anime, that you haven't, for all of us?
I'd like to play a villain. I don't think I've ever played a villain. Like a true villain. I like to play someone really butch and tough and just very. I don't know.
Hey, how's it going?
I think I've answered this before, but less generally. I think I talked about, like, I'd love if one of my favorite novels written in the 20th century is Orlando by Virginia Woolf, and I'd love if someone made I couldn't be in a film version of it. There has been a film version of it because I'm not pretty enough, but I could do the
Swinton,
voice.
right?
What's that?
Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, Tilda Swinton, and I think Billy Zane makes an appearance in it.
that's right,
You know,
Billy Zane.
it's not a bad movie. It's very good, actually. I thought, but the book is incredible and very epic in scope, and. I've always been fascinated by this. The character that is immortal and who changes gender inexplicably about halfway through the book, and so lives like the first part of his life as a male, and then just suddenly wakes up as a woman, and then and everything changes after that, and then it ends with him or she lives to the 20th century, and the book ends with her being pregnant, and it's very fascinating study of the conflict between genders embodied in this one person. I've always wanted to play a character that kind of explored that because I find the subject fascinating.
I would love to play Hedwig.
No kidding, right? Oh my god, that would be awesome. What about you?
Nerdy answer. I would love to play captain of a spaceship.
Captain of a spaceship.
Captain of a spaceship. I'd like to play a girly character. I haven't really done that. So someone who isn't me, which I really haven't done.
I like to do a death scene. That would be fun.
Oh, that would be so
Oh, yeah.
I mean, other than the wallow, it's like, all right, coming in.
You're part of a group of people that's dying. That's not fun. It's not all about me then. All right. Well, here's a lighthearted question that'll get us on the subject we tapped on last week. I think we've tapped on this just about every show. It seems.
Tap it.
Bailey. And now a zombie question.
I don't know, it wasn't last week, but
I hate zombies.
last week was Joel.
Did we talk about zombies with Joel a little bit, didn't we? I know we talked a great deal with Aaron about zombies. That was like half the show.
I don't like zombies. I don't like a human that you can't reason with that wants to eat you.
Well, zombies are supposed to be terrifying, right? I mean,
well, that's like the one. Like even zombie movies, I can enjoy some of them, but I just really don't like the idea of zombies.
Is there something that can't be reasoned with?
Yeah, so you can't be reasoned with the ones like a vampire. That's it's different. Friggin' like killers, murders, but a zombie is just no. I don't know.
Now, see, I'll tell you this before I get to the question.
Just no.
Zombies are terrifying. Zombies to me are terrifying because of their numbers, and you can't reason with them. And they're a mob.
They just
you
want
can't
to eat
reason
you.
with them.
And then you become one of them.
You can't reason with a mob, whether it's alive or undead. So it doesn't really, mobs in general just frighten me, depending on their bent or their fervor. But
Fervor. Sorry.
Just
I'm this
repeating
many.
funny things. That's funny.
But vampires, good vampire, not good vampire, but well-written
Seriously.
vampires. There being many modern exceptions to that rule. But the idea of dealing with someone who's essentially immortal or who's many years, sometimes centuries older than you is also terrifying because for me, it's not so much not being able to reason with someone, but being reasoned with by someone w's a hell of a lot smarter than you is terrifying to me. That's
I've never been in a situation
You're a vampire and
like
you're
that.
kinda-
Yeah, neither have I. But the idea, is a
Can't
little.
get one past this one.
What's this question?
Okay, so the zombie question. If you could only choose one weapon, what would you choose? Assume you could have unlimited ammunition, but you would have to carry said ammunition. It's up to you if they're fast or slow zombies. So 30 seconds, go.
I would have the newest invented automatic anti-zombie gun. Ray gun. You shoot it and they disappear.
No mess.
Yeah.
It's pneumatic.
No muss.
Yeah. It's got
You
on a
don't, but
spray
you
bottle.
don't
It's got a
believe
wider.
in guns. You believe in bats or swords, right?
Well,
that true?
really, honestly, the best thing would be a bike and just bike away. Bike's not going to run out of gas, and you just
I'd have Mila
run away.
Jovovich be my weapon.
All right, no weapon. Bat, like a baseball bat.
Because you don't got to reload a bat.
Aluminum, so it won't, soak
won't
up zombie
crack.
blood.
Won't break, presumably.
Well, I don't know. I might have a really bad day.
It takes a lot to break an aluminum bat. You could dent it, but it'll still be. But I could see you cracking a wooden bat in half in no time.
Yeah, aluminum.
Then you'd have, in
strong
case
aluminum.
vampires came by with the wooden bat, crack that in half, then you could
Yeah.
stake the vampire. I'm thinking of multi-attacks here. By more than
I would try to
Creature of
get the
Darkness.
vampires to attack the zombies and kind of get them to cancel each
Why
other
would
out.
the vampires do that?
I could fool them maybe into thinking that the zombies, like the fresher
I love
zombies,
that I'm all wild.
maybe the fresher zombies still have some blood in them. The ones that haven't been embalmed. Maybe.
Their blood would be coagulated. It'd be terrible to drink.
But maybe vampires would dig that. Maybe vampires would be like a
Zombie
treat.
children would be hell too.
They're annoying enough.
Children enough.
The children are terrifying
Or dead.
anyway. But yeah,
Alive.
Little.
But,
Village
No,
of the
I-
Damned, scariest movie ever.
I love
All
that
those.
There are all these
Aryan
people.
type.
Oh God, they're
Psychotic children.
I love that. I love seeing the people dressed as zombies, and they're like, "When are you gonna dress as a zombie?" I go, "I love that in your scenario, I'm dead. Like I'm alive. I'm not gonna be a zombie. I love zombies because they'd be really easy to run away from and all that. But vampires, I'm pretty sure I'd be screwed." Screwed.
Vampires, I would probably.
But then there's
I would
a
join
sexuality
them.
tied to vampires. That
Yeah,
I'm just
if
like,
I was,
I'd love to-
if they were like Anne Rice vampires, I would totally become one. I'm like, I want to be an artsy, brooding, sexual vampire. Like, I don't want to be like.
Why? Why?
I don't want to be like an ugly vampire. I don't want to be like the old fashioned. Like Nosferatu. Those are. I'm like, no, I wouldn't want to live forever if I had to look like that. Because that's like, I want to be the sexy, long-haired, like ribbon wearing.
So I did have like the Lily Taylor vampire in The Addiction, where she was getting, her PhD in philosophy and gets turned into a vampire and has Christopher Walken and Annabella Sciorra in it. And it's just this it's a great movie, but it's just, all about, Kierkegaard and Nietzsche and finding, philosophy and vampirism and drug addiction and all this stuff. I mean, they basically take vampirism to the point of being a drug addiction, and basically you get other people addicted, just like a vampire turns another person into another vampire.
Yeah.
And it's good. Ends with self-revelation is the annihilation of self, or something like that. I think
Interesting.
That was the final message.
Interesting.
Self-revelation through the annihilation. Yeah.
Self-revelation, the annihilation of self.
Well, there's
The Addiction. I gotta check it out. That actually sounds really interesting.
It's really
some
good.
really
I like
good
me. I like. So
vampire
you're a
movies out
zombie.
there.
You're a zombie person, and I like zombie movies. But for a long time, I went through a vampire phase. I love
all of us
love
did.
vampire movies.
All of us did.
Good
I watched
ones.
a lot
It's hard
of
to find
really
good ones
crappy
now.
ones.
I'm not
Really?
a Twilight fan.
I watch
Twilight-
Twilight because my niece watches Twilight, and it brings out the 14-year-old girl in me. I mean, just watch it. I mean, Edward's pretty cool. His brother Emmett's even better. But
I'm just not the audience for that joke.
I love, like, Steven and I can't wait for it to come to the Dollar Theater because, we pissed enough people off with New Moon. I can't wait.
Oh no.
I can't. Well, because he was just like, it's a new moon! Holy shit! Wow! And all that. No, I like really crappy vampire. There's a really good one. It was before Nicolas Cage was Nicolas Cage. Vampire's Kiss.
It's the one where he
no.
eats the cockroach, and that he really ate a cockroach.
But he was just walking around like with those fake vampire teeth going like...
What about Once Bitten with Jim Carrey and Lauren Hutton?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And Cleveland Little too. I remember that
Innocent
movie.
Blood.
Oh God! Fright Night. We mentioned the remake earlier, but I think the original one's pretty.
Was Lair
fun.
of the White Worm a vampire?
Lair of the White Worm is a vampire movie. Okay. Yes, it is.
Remember that in Cat People.
Cat People, like the original.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Oh no.
I only see that.
I do. The what is the guy's name? Val Lewton, the guy that produced and directed that. He made a whole bunch of really psychologically slanted horror movies like that in the 40s and 50s, I think, and like the Cat People was one of. That's a very good. I love that movie. Like it's an old black and white one, but man, if you watch it in the right frame of mind, it is a creepy exercise in just atmospherics, and by the end of it, you're like, I'm not entirely sure what happened, but I'm frightened by what I just saw. Like on some weird level, I'm frightened and I don't know why. It's that kind of movie. Val Lewton was the master of that kind of scaring the shit out of you, but you didn't know you were being scared until afterwards. Good movie. If you've never seen it, I would recommend it. I think you'd like it.
Kind of like
They remade it like in the
Mary-Kate
80s or
and
something,
Ashley
didn't
Olsen.
they?
You don't realize just how terrifying it was to you.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like just saying that.
Family Matters was a terrifying show. Full
Why
House.
would Bob Saget be a dad to such horrible-looking children? Horrible, terrifying children. Whoa. There's one question that we should ask everybody, but occasionally we let it slip. What's your favorite cuss word?
We like to ask that of all the guests. We think to ask it of because
And I like to use fucking as an adverb, so fuckingly.
Okay, here's a bizarre question. Since
Or adjective, adverb? No, I'm confused.
Adverb.
Adverb, yeah.
If it ends in ly, it tends to be an adverb.
Yeah.
Because it modifies a verb.
Yes.
So
Fuckingly.
I'm
like,
walking.
fuckingly pissed off.
I am running fuckingly.
Yes.
So I'm verbing ly. That's
I like
the rule of
fuck
thumb.
to words. It's fun.
Yeah.
I will fuck start your head. I don't know what it
Fuck,
means.
start your head. Oh, I know what it means.
Can I get a glass of ice fucking water?
Fucking water right fucking now. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's a great
I
flat
do
filler
like to,
too.
actually, favorite word, frack, because of Battlestar Galactica. I started saying frack.
Good. You're going to ask a random question?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, son, what is the most awkward time when you have accidentally used a curse word and not meant to? And instantly wished you could have taken it back. Now, like, don't make it a tragic story. Like, you're,
I don't know.
But like somewhere funny, like you're like motherfucker, and you turn around and like grandma's there or something. You know, what I mean, something like that. Anything that comes to mind?
No, because I'm not.
You?
I say some very
Well,
inappropriate, perverted things in meetings. I think that's my version of, actually at least saying a bad word. I don't know. I'm like on the spot. I can't think of one. Oftentimes in executive meetings at work, I'll say something that's completely off color or wrong, and I just
kind of go, oh.
Yeah,
and everyone goes,
never mind.
And you're like, that was a joke. I don't actually believe that. I'm just saying it. I mean, never mind. You people, humor's lost on you. No. I find myself in that situation all the time.
It's really hard for me to watch.
No, like, I mean, a good example.
Me too.
Having everyone kind of like go is it's funny to bring up my sexuality in front of people that aren't used to people being comfortable. It's not comfortable being around gay people who are fine being gay. And we were in a meeting one day, and someone we're going over facts, and someone turns around and says, "So is everyone straight?" It's just like no. And that's really fun. I like doing stuff like that.
I run into that a lot because people will
what if you're not sure? The one guy's like, put your hand down, Ned. I swear to God.
Ned, we've talked about this.
You're gay. We know.
I find myself in that position a lot because a lot of people don't, I guess, know that or find it obvious that I'm gay, which I find amazing to me. I think it's very obvious, but that's just me. Maybe.
I don't know if I ever look at someone and go, "You're obvious." Like, unless he's like wearing like an "I'm gay" ass cow shirt, like.
And even then, you never know. It could be ironic.
Not ass cow.
I'm a gay ass cow. What's an ass cow?
I'm a gay ass cow.
Boo moo buckaroo. The bad old joke.
Oh, but no, yeah, it's really funny because people will talk to you about, just you're like, so is you married? Do you have a wife? And I'll be like, no.
No, it's not legal for me to get married.
Yeah, not legal for me to get married here.
Like, what do you?
Oh, and so I always get like, funny. I never would have thought you were gay, and I'm like, well,
like, really, you should see me in bed.
I'm like, yeah. What was it I said that one show? Several shows back, where it was like we were talking about like how can you tell? And I'm like, the only way to tell, like the only surefire way of knowing whether someone is gay or not is fuck them.
Yes, and Monica just or even then
she's in theater, so she knows.
Even
you develop it, but I mean,
even if like they didn't like having sex with you, maybe they just didn't like you very much. They could still be gay.
Yeah.
Fuck.
If they're having sex with me
willingly, I don't like
willingly,
vagina. It's just that I really don't like you.
Oh, I totally get it. Later.
Yeah, but it's funny. I run into that all the time, where people just kind of assume you're straight, and you have to kind of be like, oh, I see that the direction this conversation is going is one that's going to exclude me, so I feel the need to go ahead and tell you now that you've assumed something about me that is not true, and it's very awkward. And I have to be like,
say you're gay.
I'm gay, by the way, just so you know. And they're like, oh, and then people then try to overly censor themselves. So they're like,
I have a gay friend.
I have a gay friend. I love gay people. And
I love you guys.
I love the gay. What, really?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't really care. I do find it odd sometimes when I may or may not know. I don't really care. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's just how, I want to joke and say I wasn't raised. I just, I will hate you based on your personality. I don't care who you like. I don't fucking care. But there was somebody.
Unless your boyfriend or girlfriend's an asshole, then that's not.
I'm gay. I'm like, wow, I just met you. I don't even know your name yet. You're like, but I'm gay. Just to have you know. Yeah. You need to know this.
I mean, I'm from experience, I can understand why some people choose to foreground it because it's, because they just want to avoid awkward situations.
But if I'm at a gay bar, I think I kind of put two and two together.
Yeah. But I think, for me personally, and I've probably said this before, but I mean, I just wish it wasn't an issue for people. I wish it was no more. I wish I didn't feel the need to foreground it any more than people who have red hair or brown hair or blonde or whatever feel the need to you don't.
She's really a blonde.
Wow, she's really it's
no
I just
fucking
don't.
Way.
I just feel like I wish it was. It's a non-issue that a lot of people make a big issue on both sides of the fence, I think.
Yeah.
And some people that, I mean, it's I hate feeling compelled to make an issue out of something about myself that I don't think is an issue. Not because I'm embarrassed by being gay, or for example, it's just because I'm like, I just don't feel it's a focal point of interest. It's just who I sleep with isn't something that I feel the need
Believe
to.
me, it doesn't mean anything. Just because I say I'm gay does not mean I know how to decorate. Does not mean I know
Exactly,
how to cook, does not
exactly.
mean I know how to look at me.
Does not love me. I don't know. You're
I
pretty
don't know which
dresser.
fork to eat salad with.
I don't
But
know
you're
that either.
gay.
It's just
I know.
gay. I have
How did
no-
you pass the exam?
Yeah.
I did.
I didn't.
Yes.
He's a illegally practicing gay.
Yes.
Oh my God! You don't have a license to gay.
I don't. It's yeah.
It's okay. I'm illegally gay too. I guess I'm not. I don't have a card. I
haven't recruited
my
10
membership
people in the last
expire.
year, so it got taken away.
Yeah, I still have mine, but it's not.
Recruited them.
Yeah.
You there. Come here. No.
I have a fake
wanna
gay
be gay.
ID, so I don't like to have to pay my dues.
I'm 2 away from the free toaster, though. I'll recruit 2 more.
Doing the
So now is it like the 4-slice toaster?
Yeah, it's at the 4-slice toaster, and then it also can do the hot dogs and the hot dog buns. I mean, it is an
course it
amazing
can.
toaster.
deep fryer on the
It
side.
can, yes. Pocket microwave oven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
We've covered some.
we've covered
very
just about
funky
everything. I
ground
think
today,
we've solved
yeah.
all the world's problems, and
All right, go team. Woo.
it has been fascinating to sit here and talk with you for the
Yeah.
past
I mean, we're
while
done. I
about-
want to talk about myself some more.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. No.
we just.
No, it has been great to talk with you because
Cool,
it's a
it's
side
been
of the
fun.
business
This
that I
has
think
been
a lot
fun,
of a lot of people don't necessarily know about that should. I think that would be interested
Yeah,
if they
right.
kind of knew that it was a thing, But yeah, so thanks for coming on the show, and thank you for
Thank
doing
you,
what
sir.
you do because I think it's, as I
rock.
said, it's a
Thank
very
you.
important part of what we all do, and I think it's like we're very indebted to you and the department for how much you love your job and how passionate you are and how just damn good.
I try to put out the best package I can. So.
We love your package.
Come on.
Let's say this.
no.
We love your package. We love all your packages.
Gold foil stamp. No.
And on that note, package it all.
Package out.
Package out.
Laters, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.